Now, what is chemical addiction? Chemical addiction is nothing more than somebody who got a problem, a deep-seated psychological issue that's causing them pain and discomfort. And because they lack the willpower to face the demon and slay it once and for all, they rather simply sedate the issue, pacify the issue. But the problem with pacifying the issue is that you only feel good as long as that joint is there. You only feel good as long as that pack of cigarettes is there. You only feel good until that bottle of liquor is gone. And then once you come off that high, you're right back where you started, which makes you feel even worse than the beginning. So what do? Beam right back on up. And that's where the addiction comes from. There is no addiction without some sort of issue that you're trying to cope with, without facing. But we have to understand that you can't get the pleasure. You can't get the peace of mind unless you go through the pain. I want to make sure you understand that. Any issue you got, a problem with your mother or father that you never rectified, something with your coworkers, brothers and sisters, baby mom, baby dad, ex-husband, ex-wife, somebody on the block, anybody, somebody at church, the masjid, the temple, the community organization, whatever it is you do, any issue you got, you have to understand that you will never be able to achieve peace unless you're willing to confront the pain. The peace stands behind the pain. If we could just get the willpower to slay our demons once and for all, they will start running our lives. Drugs don't solve problems. Drugs don't solve inattention. Drugs don't solve hyperactivity. Drugs don't solve anger. Drugs don't solve aggression. There is no evidence that any drug solves any problem. The drug's job is simply to suppress the symptom until the school day is over. Suppress the symptom until the school day is over. Now, the reason I take significant issue with the drugs is because I understand that the side effects are so debilitating that many of our boys, when they're old enough to try to make an honest and decent living, won't be able to, because the impact of the side effect of the drug would have been so significant that many of them won't be able to work. Kills brain cells on contact. Mess with heart function. Instant death, stroke, heart attack, liver, kidney failure, epilepsy, diabetes, schizophrenia, tic disorders, psychosis, and you know what psychosis is. That's what we call people quote-unquote crazy, which we shouldn't. But psychosis is when you hear things that aren't there and see things that are not there. It messes with the child's sleep-wake cycle, so either they sleep too much or they don't sleep at all. It messes with their diet to the point where they eat too much or they don't eat at all. And most importantly, from a eugenics, racial extermination standpoint, the drug erodes the black boy's ability to produce healthy semen. So when he's old enough to have children, many of our boys won't be able to, because you as his parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, caregivers, foster and adoptive parents thought that it was necessary for him to be able to sit still long enough to be miseducated. You're going to let them play video games, and I prefer they don't play video games at all during the week, but if you're going to, no more than an hour a day. You got to limit that, because video game addiction is real. I know young people who are literally addicted to video games. And when you think they sleep, guess what? They got the television on mute, still playing, and you wonder why he got bags under his eyes all the way down to his chin. Then he goes to school and they want to diagnose him with ADHD because he can't pay attention. He can't pay attention because he's fatigued and tired because he never goes to sleep. Yeah. And please start sending your children to school with breakfast in their stomach. The brain does not function appropriately in the morning hours if it doesn't have the fuel. And I'm not talking about Lucky Charms. I'm not talking about Sugar Smacks. I'm not talking about Fruity Pebbles. Give them some grits. Give them some oatmeal. Give them some of those old-time breakfast meals that your parents gave you. That's what the body needs, not sugar.
They need to hear that.
Because you keep on giving them sugar, and the first thing the white teachers say, what? I think he got ADHD. So now he on a drug. Now he on 2 drugs, because table sugar is the first drug. And then he on Ritalin and Strattera. That's the second drug. And for those of y'all who don't know, table sugar was once classified as a drug by the Food and Drug Administration. That's why it looks like crack, weighs like crack, got the same side effects as crack. And if we call sugar what it is, which is crack, how many in this room are crack addicts? liquor sales, we totally dominate the malt liquor.
Yeah. Cognac.
Guess what I was told by one of the brothers who worked for a distributing company?
Yeah.
We were sitting in a store one day up in Philadelphia, and he pulled out this big laptop, so I started asking him about his laptop, because I never saw one like that. It looked like one of the Army laptops. So he said, I work for a beer distribution thing. So we started talking about politics. I told him I was a Garveyite. We started building. He said, I'm going to tell you something. If black people knew what malt liquor would do to the liver, they would never drink another cup of it. Now he said, I make money off of this, but it is killing us. He said, what it would take one of the higher quality beers to do to the liver, and it would take them about 5 years to get to the point that malt liquor would have you in 6 months. He said malt liquor shouldn't even be sold. That's how toxic it is to the kidney and to the liver. And he said that when you look nationally at the malt liquor sales, it is almost earmarked for the ghetto. He said they don't even sell that stuff out in the suburbs. They earmark. And in fact, he said malt liquor is the waste that comes from making the other beers. It's the leftover stuff that they bottle it and send it to the neighborhood. Not to mention there's research out there that show that it messes with the man's ability, once again, to reproduce.